It's the Cowboys coming off getting their butts whooped by the Niners, and the Chargers, banged up as seemingly always, coming off a bye. It's also the Kellen Moore Bowl. Jaron Kearse just said, the Cowboys defensive back, that they know that Kellen Moore is going to want to lay it on him. I go back to training camp, Sam, and something that stood out to me when visiting these two teams. When I went to Oxnard to visit the Cowboys, I was told by multiple people, man, Kellen's not here anymore. We are going to throw it deep. Man, we are letting loose. Man, we're going to stretch the field. We haven't seen that. And then you heard from the Chargers people, man, I'll tell you what. Like, Joe Lombardi's not here, man. We are throwing it deep. We are letting it go. Both can't be true because Kellen Moore couldn't have been holding back the Cowboys from throwing it deep, and now the secret to the Chargers throwing it deep. These two offenses, two very different quarterbacks. What do the numbers tell us about this one?
I think you look at the evidence so far, and you tend to come down on the idea that Kellen Moore is a help more than he is a hindrance to anything. I mean, he has unlocked a greater degree of aggression in Justin Herbert this year relative to anything we've seen before. Last season, Justin Herbert's numbers were kind of skewed by that rib injury that he was carrying basically for the whole year. So they were unusually conservative, but his average depth of target has always been pretty low. That's jumped up this season to 9.1 yards, which is on the higher end of the spectrum, not the most aggressive in the league, but closer to that than he's ever been before.
And Sam, where's Dak on that?
Dak is usually in the middle of the pack somewhere. This season, he is at 7.1. So he's at the lower end of that spectrum. So it's kind of gone in the opposite directions. Herbert's gone up, Dak Prescott's gone down, but it has resulted in a more aggressive Justin Herbert. And it's also done what we were kind of calling for in the offseason. Justin Herbert, for the last 2 years, has led the league, had the lowest turnover-worthy play rate in football. He's been essentially the most careful quarterback in the game at protecting the football. A guy with his talent, with his arm talent, with his ability to make plays, just simply shouldn't have the best number in the league at that stat, right? Because you're going to be better off with a few more mistakes with him being more aggressive because he can make spectacular plays. And that's what we're seeing this year. He's had more turnover-worthy plays, but I think it's resulted in a net win because he's being more aggressive and he's attacking deeper down the field and he's making some more of those plays that were being left on the shelf.
Wait a minute. You're not going to do the James Franklin thing here and just tell them, just throw it deep, right? Just chuck it up there? No.
Chuck it up blindly. What the hell? It doesn't matter what the defense is throwing you. Just drop back.
Right. Let it go. Yeah, take a shot. Why not? Yeah. Keep them honest. All right, the flip side, you mentioned where Dak is in the sevens, and that's kind of middle of the pack here. What do the numbers say overall about the Cowboys offense on a week in which Jerry Jones was asked on his radio show, would you consider telling Mike McCarthy to let Brian Schottenheimer call plays? And he obviously said no.
Yeah, we've been talking about this on our podcast a bit. They've been very difficult to get a full read on because all the games they've been involved in have been the game script has led you in a certain direction from the offense, right? You haven't got too many sort of fair, even script situations where you get a real beat on what this offense is. You know, you look at the 49ers game from very early on in that game, they're in a completely different mode than they're normally in, right? And even the games that have gone well, you know, they're absolutely stomping the Patriots. So the game script changes in the opposite direction. So I still don't think we really know what this offense is, except to say it's not doing a lot to enhance the production of Dak Prescott, right? The receivers are not being schemed open. It's starting to look like this version of Mike McCarthy's offense back in Green Bay when we were having that debate of what is the problem here? Is it Aaron Rodgers sort of reaching the end of his career? Is it this offense that's grown stale and isn't putting people in a position to succeed? It's starting to look like that same conversation all over again, except with the confounding factors of these weird games that are either beatdown defeats or beatdown victories.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.